Hey guys, Brad from RotoHeat back at it with another rookie breakdown. Today we're going to talk about Isaiah Hodgins, the wide receiver from Oregon State. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to RotoHeat here on YouTube and hit the notification bell so you can be updated every time we pump out any new content. We've got plenty of rookies to come. Hodgins is 6'4", 209 pounds, and he's 21 years old. Over his career at Oregon State, he had 176 catches for 2,322 yards and 20 touchdowns. That comes to about an average of 13.2 yards per catch. The team gave Isaiah Hodgins a 6.3 athletic ability score, and you'll see it throughout the notes that the guys put together is that everybody thinks he's just really average. At his size, when you get to the collegiate level, that's a big mismatch in and of itself, but at no point did we see anything that wowed us in regards to his athletic profile. He was real average across the board. He doesn't really have the top end speed to take the top off the defense, but he used his body well, and I think at the next level he's an above average athlete, and his size will really do him well at the next level. For toughness, we gave him a 5.9. We saw a lot of times throughout the film that we watched that, he just wasn't that physical. And at 6'4" and over 200 pounds, facing competition that's 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 foot or 6'1" at best, you really should have been able to see a lot more physicality out of Hodgins, and we just didn't see it on tape. So at the next level, that could be concerning because guys at the next level, the corners that he's going to face at the pro level are really, there's a lot of guys that are really physical. We're seeing a lot of corners come out nowadays that have no problem doing bump and run. They'll get right up in that receiver's face. And if Hodgins doesn't improve in this area, that could be really tough for him at the next level. The real saving grace for Hodgins is his hands ability. The one thing that all the writers noticed was that he was really good catching the ball with his hands. At the pro game, that's going to be huge for him. Think of teams like New Orleans that has those big kind of slot receivers and deploys them in a lot of areas where you need to, the ball's going to be on you real quick and you got to have those hands right out and ready to go. We saw Hodgins really excel at this in college, and we think that that'll be really well for him going into the next level. Yards after catch is one of the areas that we saw that was a little bit weaker with his game. We rated it a 5.5. You didn't see a lot of times where he was breaking tackles and making things happen after he got the ball in his hands. A lot of times we'd see him just catch the ball and go down. So there are some concerns there. A lot of the guys saw him really develop a nice hands game, but that'll only get you so far if you go down as soon as you get the ball. We really need guys to make things happen after that ball's in their hands. So that's a concern for Hodgins that he's going to have to work on at the next level. Route running is another area that we're concerned about at Oregon State. The route trees aren't really dynamic. There's not a lot to them. We rated him a 5.5, and this is an area that could easily grow. Guys at the next level, they're continuously working on things like the hands and the route running and the physical side of the game. So a lot of these areas that we're talking about are all things that can be improved. And at his age, he's got plenty of time to do that. But this isn't going to bode well in making him an early round pick. He's probably more of a developmental type guy where somebody's taking him in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and maybe even later. This year we saw guys like Darius Slayton, who I'm not comparing him to, but we saw guys like Darius Slayton get drafted in the 5th round and be successful. So Hodgins has that ability, but he's going to have to work on his route running. He didn't have to run a ton of routes at Oregon State. Overall, we rated him a 6.1. So we factored all of these different areas together, and that's what we came up with. It's not an amazing score. If you've seen any other videos, it's one of the lower scores right now. And that could change. This is just the first part of the series. We're evaluating college footage. After we see him at the combine and we hear the hype going into the draft, and even after the draft, the next few videos may change. But right now we see him kind of as a guy that should exceed at the goal line with his hands ability and his size. And the unfortunate thing, one of the writers pointed out, is that receivers typically make their money between the 20s. Yes, there are guys that are big at the goal line, but we need to see some improvement in a lot of areas. We need to see more toughness. We need to see better route running. We need to see better, yards after. And that's those are all things that he can work on. So we're definitely, we're not saying that he's a bust at all, but there's a lot of room for improvement. The nice thing, like I said earlier, he's a young kid. 21, he's got plenty of time to improve, and he's got one of the biggest things already going for him is the hands. That'll put him set him apart from a lot of other receivers in the draft class. Is that a lot of guys in the draft class, may not have as well a hand. So it's certainly a plus for him. As you move to the pro game, we see him, very similar to those types of receivers that are big slot receivers. Because he doesn't have that big play ability where he's going to take the top off a defense. He really does kind of equate to a guy that's going to be moved around inside a lot more. But that's still a plus. I mean, we see big slot receivers being very successful all the time. Michael Thomas, the Larry Fitzgeralds of the world. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that Hodgins is the next either of those guys, but he's definitely got room for improvement. But there's a lot to like about his game.
Don't forget, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any more fantasy football content from the RotoHeat.com team. Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.